Hello and welcome to this lecture on plotting Tagore's story Kabuliwala. This story was written in 1892, so we are going to take a look at this 19th century short fiction by Tagore for today's lecture. Rabindranath Tagore needs no introduction for an Indian audience, but nevertheless let me give you a very brief summary of some of the high points of his career. Tagore was a polymath. He was a song composer, he was a novelist, he was an essayist, he was a dramatist, and he was also a painter. He was very creative, and that was well acknowledged by the rest of the world. In fact, he won the Nobel Prize in 1913, and in fact he was the first non-European to do so. And his song collection called Gitanjali was extremely popular both in India and across the world. And two of the novels that are very well known are Gora, published in 1910, and The Home and the World, published in 1916. Tagore was also awarded a knighthood in 1915 by the British Empire, but he rejected it in 1919 as a protest against the Amritsar violence, that is the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919. Tagore was known as the innovator of the Bengali short story genre, and three of the short fiction from the 19th century are very well known. They are The Fruit Seller from Kabul, that is the Kabuliwala, The Hungry Stones from 1895, and The Runaway. All these have a lot of profundity in terms of their analysis of the lowest of the low. Minnie's father is the narrator of this story, and this story is about a precocious, highly intelligent 5-year-old little girl called Minnie. She is very talkative, that's why the father calls her as loquacious, and feisty as well, very spirited little girl. An Afghan trader called Rahmat befriends this little girl. He makes friends with her one fine day, and later on he is arrested for a crime and he is jailed for years. And he is away for a lot of time from the story, and once he returns he meets this grown-up girl and she refuses to acknowledge their friendship. That's basically the bare bones of the story Kabuliwala. Now, if we analyze the story in relation to Khuswant Singh's theories of a great short story, what are the results that we would get from it? If we recall Khuswant Singh's first point about a great short story, he says that a short story must be built around one incident or a series of incidents illustrating one theme or portraying one character or the equation between that one character and others. So it should be either one incident or a series of incidents about a central idea, or it could be about one character or the relationship between that one character and the rest of the society. The second theory that he has suggested is that a story can be very fantastic, it can be as fantastic as possible, and its characters and situations can be as unrealistic as the writer likes it to be, but they should have the ring of truth and a message to convey. And the last theory that he has about a classic short story is that it must have a twist, like a scorpion sting in its tail, a curlicue, a curl which would sum up the major concern of the story. So let's keep all these major points of Khuswant Singh about a classic short story and apply it to Kabuliwala, Tagore's short fiction from 1892. So this story is about Minnie's relationships, the little girl's relationships with her father, with her mother, with the stranger Rahmat, the fruit seller from Kabul, and with the servants. So it's about Minnie. Therefore, there is a unity of character there in this story, and it justifies Khuswant Singh's point about a classic short story. And there is also, importantly, unity of incident. So what is this unity of incident that we have in Kabuliwala? This story revolves around the series of arrivals made by the stranger called Rahmat, and this series of arrivals structures the plot of this story. That's something we need to keep in mind. So the arrival and the departure of the stranger is crucial for the narrative functions of this story. In other words, we can call the Kabuliwala as the plot catalyst itself, because this figure, the stranger from Kabul, initiates the plot, that is, he sets the plot rolling, he complicates the plot, that is, he offers crisis in the story, and he is also helpful in resolving the plot. He brings some kind of resolution to the story as well at the end of it. So he is crucial for the story world. Now let's look at how exactly he initiates the story. So, at the beginning of the story, we see Minnie playing in her father's studio or study, where he writes stories. Minnie's father is a writer. So, Minnie spends a lot of time in her father's study. So, one fine day, she stops her game abruptly. Minnie ran to the window which overlooked the main road and began calling out at the top of her voice, "Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala." That's the actual beginning of the story, and from this point on the story picks up and becomes very energized, so to speak. Once he arrives, Kabuliwala begins to dominate the plot. In fact, he offers the flesh and bones of the story. He offers both humor and he offers crisis as well. And as I said, he also helps in bringing the plot to a finale or a conclusion through his intervention and intrusion into the world of Minnie. Let's look at an example of the crisis, one of the mini crises that the Kabuliwala offers in this story. So one day when the father is away, the Kabuliwala arrives, and the Kabuliwala and Minnie spend time together. And apparently the Kabuliwala had given the little girl some dry fruits and raisins, and the father, on realizing this, offers money to the Kabuliwala, and then he goes away. Later he realizes that the daughter is given the coin back by the Kabuliwala, and there is a full-scale row about it. So the father, on returning home, finds a full-scale row had broken out over the coin. Her mother chided, "Why did you take it from him?" Minnie answered sobbingly, "I didn't ask for it, he gave it on his own." So the Kabuliwala returns the coin that he had received from the father as a payment for the goods that he had delivered the child. So for this, the mother is incensed and she chides the little girl for getting the money from the stranger. So that is one of the mini crises in the story. Now let's look at the humor that the Kabuliwala offers, a humor that's full of significance in terms of our interpretation of the story. So one of the routine exchange between the two is about the in-laws, and the Kabuliwala tells the little girl, "Missy, you should never go to the in-laws." And this little girl, this 5-year-old, doesn't know what exactly is the meaning of the in-laws. The father says, "Being very modern, being a very progressive family, we chose not to load our daughter's mind with precocious thoughts at such a tender age." So they didn't want to explain to the little child what exactly or who are the in-laws and what exactly is the in-laws home mean for a girl. So this girl, on hearing this phrase in-laws from Kabuliwala, turns that statement into a question and asks, "Will you go to your in-laws?" And the Kabuliwala says, "I will wallop my in-law." Wallop my in-law is strike. I'll strike my in-law. And this little girl, thinking about the plight of the unknown creature called father-in-law, she would explode into laughter. So this is a source of fun for the little kid because she does not know who are the in-laws and what is an in-law's place. And we need to take a second look at this word wallop, because wallop is something that is hitting someone very hard. It's a very violent action. And it is very interesting because there is foreshadowing in the use of the term, and that foreshadowing suggests that real violence is going to happen at some point or the other in the story. Now we have seen the minor crisis, and now let's look at the major crisis in this story, because it offers a turning point, and this crisis takes the Kabuliwala from the story into another place. Looking out, I saw this is the view that the father receives or sees from his study. So he looks out of the window and sees Rahmat in handcuffs, escorted by two policemen. There were marks of blood on Rahmat's clothes, and the policeman was carrying a blood-stained knife. So there is a clear suggestion that Rahmat has been involved in a serious crime, because there are marks of blood and there is a blood-stained knife as well. This is very interesting, as I said, because earlier we had a hint of the violence to come on the part of Rahmat through his choice of words. So, the story is this: Rahmat apparently had sold a shawl to a neighbor of Minnie's father, and the neighbor refuses to pay, and there is a quarrel and a fight between Rahmat and the neighbor, and in the heat of the argument, Rahmat too took out a knife and stabbed the man. So this is a major crisis in the story, because Rahmat is arrested and he is jailed for grievous injury, for committing grievous injury. So the Kabuliwala departs from the narrative world, the story world, from the world of Minnie, and Minnie grows up. And in the process of growing up, she replaced all her elderly male friends with girls of her own age. She was hardly to be seen in her father's studio. That's a very, very interesting overlap between the Kabuliwala's departure and Minnie's leaving her father's studio. Resolution, as I said, is offered by the Kabuliwala himself when he returns to the story world, once he comes back to the narrative. The stranger arrives very interestingly and significantly on the bridal day of Minnie, and the father immediately makes him unwelcome, because he is a man who is out of place in that celebratory world at Minnie's home. So he tells the Kabuliwala that he cannot meet anybody on this particular day, and the man who is about to leave asks pleadingly, in a faltering tone, in a very, very pathetic tone, "Can't I see the girl for a moment?" And he tells the father that I brought these grapes and raisins for the little girl, hope you don't mind giving it to her. This offer, this very generous offer, an offer that's touched with the bond that he had for Minnie, the love and affection that the stranger had for Minnie, changes something in the heart of the father, as he can see that this stranger is emotionally attached to his little daughter, whom he doesn't envision as a grown-up girl at this point. So this emotional poignancy in the request of the Kabuliwala to the father makes the father change his mind. So the father orders the girl to come to the studio. And before that happens, the father offers money to the Kabuliwala for the raisins and the fruits that he had brought for the girl, and the Kabuliwala responds by saying, "You are a generous man, sir, and I'll never forget your kindness, but please don't pay me for these fruits. Just as you have a daughter, I too have one back home. It is remembering her face that I bring these gifts for your child. I don't come here for business." For the first time, we get to hear from the Kabuliwala's own mouth about his family that he had left behind in Kabul, especially about a little daughter who apparently resembles Minnie's age. So he says that it is because of her memory that I bring these gifts to your child, and that it is not business that he is after in offering all these edible stuff to the little girl. And what he does is, this is even more significant than the words that he had spoken before. What this man from Kabul does is, he shows Minnie's father the impression of a very small on it. He takes a small piece of paper where there is an impression of a very small hand on it, and it's not a photograph, something that we need to keep in mind. It's not as expensive as a photograph, but it is just or not even a painting. It's not even a painting, but the trace of a tiny hand created with burnt charcoal and daubed on the palm. So it's like an imprint of a small hand which has been traced by charcoal and daubed with it too. So this stands in for the image of the little girl of Rahmat. And this scene and this moment in the story has a lot of emotional punch to it when he reveals this photograph, a very rudimentary image to Minnie's father. And we can see that Minnie offers shape and soul to that imprint, because the real girl is not with Rahmat. So instead what he does is he replaces his own daughter with Minnie, who becomes a sort of a surrogate for the Kabuliwala's daughter. So this is a rudimentary sign. The image is a rudimentary sign of the real daughter, but at the same time it has a lot of poignancy to it, and it captures the father's pain as well. So this rudimentary sign has two functions. One is to talk about the daughter, the missing daughter, the absent daughter of Rahmat, and the other is to convey the loss or the absence of the daughter and the pain that the father undergoes because of that loss. So these words contain a lot of impact in terms of narrative. So they create certain shifts, certain changes in the mind of Minnie's father. So as I said, what he does is, upon hearing Rahmat, what the father does is he sends word for her to come out to the study immediately. Many of the women objected, but I paid no heed. In her bridal dress and ceremonial makeup, Minnie came out from the inner quarters and stood beside me coyly. So on the bridal day, the father sends word for the daughter to come and meet a person who is a stranger to many in that household. Only the father and Minnie would probably recognize the man. So this meeting, after a long time, evokes the first meeting of Minnie and the Kabuliwala, when the girl very suspiciously stands beside her father and seeks protection from him. So this second meeting evokes the very first meeting ages ago. And this scene is very interesting because despite the circumstances in which the meeting is organized and despite the circumstances of the wedding, the father is obeyed when he asks the daughter to come and meet this stranger. And it's very interesting to note that the women are paid no heed. Their objections are swept aside by this very authoritative figure of the father. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you in the next session.